What is going on, everybody? Good evening and welcome to the Occult Rejects. We are your host, a few of the Occult Rejects. But before we get started and introduce ourselves, go ahead and be sure to like the stream and share it with your friends and family. I am Jules, host of Gray Pill Podcast, the Mississippi Mystic, the Handsome Hierophant. I have many titles. With me this evening is the feral pagan himself, Headless Giant, and the Cardinal Electric Head, Nick, Mr. CEO. What's going on, gentlemen?
How's it going? Happy Wednesday.
Nick, I think you're muted.
Oh, no, I'm good. I just didn't say anything
yet. It's nice to get into Eros and Pscyche on a Wednesday night. I think there's some divine symmetry there.
Oh, happy! Well, it is Woden's Day.
Yes,
you know?
Wednesday is magic.
Yeah. So there is something, and I think when we lose the proper terms of these days, that meaning gets lost in it, and I think that's done on purpose. But guys, welcome back to another episode of Rustic Gods. This is a series that we started some months ago, and we're still doing it. So apparently it's good. People are liking it, and we like doing it. So tonight we are talking about Eros and Pscyche. So I'm pretty stoked for that. What's up, Magus? Good to see you. Stitches, good to see you. Pete Thomas, what's up, man? Guys, before we get started, I did want to share with y'all, I have some big news. I have a web store.
Oh, yeah.
I have merch. It finally happened. Guys, I have a Shopify. See that? No, what's that? Oh, there's an Occult Reject sticker on there. Right here. You see it?
You're gonna pull it up.
Oh, it's not sharing?
Oh, shit. Oh, he picked that one too. That's awesome.
Yeah, well, that's what like I said, one of the many. I didn't have that much time to put too many things on there last night, but there's a few things, few stickers and a mug. I like the mug. There's candles and then that's the Shopify. There is also, I have a Printify. I haven't put anything on there yet, but I have that as well. So be two different shops where you can get stuff, and may even put different shows on each shop. But I will not be putting all the stickers out. The sticker packs are still important. So I will not be, there's only a couple of the stickers from the sticker pack you'll be able to find on here. Besides that, all the other stickers, if you subscribe to the Patreon, at one of the higher tiers, you get a free sticker pack, a lot of cool stuff in there. And anyway, just wanted to go ahead and share that, get that out the way. So thank you all for letting me talk about that, Nick and Headless.
Yeah.
How are you guys doing, man? How's y'all's week been?
Good.
Good. Playing too much.
I hear you. Smoking hashish tonight. Benjamin, good to see you, man. I wish I was joining you. So, Headless, who is Eros and Pscyche, and why is their story so important?
Well, just to kind of put it in perspective, Eros is this force from before time itself, right? So you guys have heard me talk about Phanes Protogonos. Well, this is sort of the same character as Eros. So the primordial firstborn Protogonos idea also applies to Eros as well. So he is like the uncreated one, like he's eternal, right? And he represents love. So there's a really deep psychological implication there. Like, love is the firstborn. This is the first force in nature. And so, he's not taking the form of some all-powerful dictator in the sky. He's just kind of this lackey of Aphrodite. And Aphrodite is sort of like his mother, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And he came from the union of Aphrodite and Ares, god of war. So together comes this Eros. Now, the Greeks really did go all out on the myth of Aphrodite and Eros. Why am I fucking up his name?
Aries,
god of war, Ares, right? And so it's something because that's the first person that she cheats on her husband with, right? So war is kind of the
who's
first
her husband?
betrayal. Well, her husband at that time was Hephaestus. She comes out of the water and gets betrothed to Hephaestus per Zeus. And what ends up happening instead is we get war. But Hephaestus is god of the forge, right? So all of these weapons got to be used for something, and we all love war. So let's get out there and make it happen. And it's a betrayal. It really is a betrayal of the people. And you've got all of that like as a sentence in the very first story of love and betrayal, which is Eros and which would be Aphrodite and god of war, Ares. So it's really funny how that works because it's the same repeating cycle that we see all throughout history. Well, in this story specifically, Aphrodite is getting older. And there is some human competition going on between Aphrodite and this young up-and-comer called Pscyche. And Aphrodite sees how her temples are being neglected, and everybody's paying attention to this young bitch. And so she's like, we're not going to have this. There's only one goddess of love. That's me. And I'm going to show this bitch exactly what she gets. And so she sends down Eros as her errand boy, and he's supposed to be the one carrying out all these horrible acts that she wants to do to this poor innocent young woman who is just better looking than she is. But let's take it back a step. So we've betrayed love by being more interested in our souls, right? Pscyche means
Pscyche, right, yeah, the goddess of the soul.
And Aphrodite is also one of these really, really ancient goddesses. Like before there were all of the Olympians, like she came out of the ocean. She was part of the primordial sea, the chaos of the beginning. And that's what her name means. Aphrodite means the sea foam. My cat is going nuts.
He loves it. He's in the zone. So Eros also, let me pull this picture up real fast. Also known as Cupid, right?
Yes, sir.
So is there a reason that, and this is Pscyche right here, right?
Where?
Is this her standing up? She has like butterfly wings. Yeah. And that's Eros laying down, still represented. Why did they choose like the baby to represent Cupid?
It's a really interesting point, but actually within some versions of the tale, as in the Golden Ass, he's invisible, like throughout the entire allegory. Like he's sort of receded into he can't be seen, and so when she finally looks at him, that's when the spell is broken, right? That's when the entire thing starts to melt away, is because the one agreement that they had was that she could stay in his temple forever, just as long as she doesn't look at him. And so he sort of exists as a spirit or a ghost that is moving around her, and like she's interacting with tangentially. She can't ever look him in the eyes. And so it's that difference that really sort of intrigued a lot of the Greeks, is because they kind of show him as all these different things because he exists as these different things within their pantheon. So as a child, that kind of makes sense too. He sort of reverted form in the Golden Ass version into something much more childlike. Well, she was looking at him while he was asleep. And so there was this sort of transformation that happened. But to get to that point, so Aphrodite is trying to have her taken out. So what she wants to do, she wants to have her wedded to this beast. And so there's no other option. She must be wedding the snake. And so her family starts to go through these really hard times, and they're delivered this oracle that says, you have to let Pscyche, the most beautiful girl in the world, marry this beast. And then once that happens, all of the bad luck will be gone. Aphrodite will leave you alone. And so as soon as they get the message, Pscyche is like, this is terrible. You know, my family's dying, and, you know, all of the sickness has befallen us. I'm going to go out there and actually do this thing out of duty for my kin. And what does she find is that out of duty, she finds that she's rescued. She's carried away on the Zephyrs, right? The Zephyr is a wind spirit. I think it belongs to the west.
Sylphs, right?
Right. It's a type of sylph. And this is carried away on this Zephyr over to this magical world, which is like Cupid's world, Cupid's dimension. And in Cupid's dimension, he's like, look, I know you've befallen all of these things. I can't tell you why it's happening, but I can tell you I can keep you safe here just as long as you follow these simple rules. 1, no looking at me. And so from that point on, he was sort of invisible to her, but ever present. And she gets very, very homesick, and she wants to find out if her family is okay. And, you know, he doesn't want to deny her this, because as he was doing these errands for Aphrodite, he fell in love with her, right? So now she's carried away on these Zephyrs.
Yeah, Zephyrs.
There you go. And she's carried over into this alternate dimension.
Great rack.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a reason he fell in love with her.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
But yeah, so this union of love and the soul is a primary source of the romance in this fable, because they're making a much more universalist claim. This is part of the religion. And it's funny, in the book, The Golden Ass, this is all being told to a kidnap victim by an old slave woman. So an old slave woman is trying to keep this kidnap victim quiet so that these bandits don't come back and, you know, bash her in the face. And this slave woman has been with these bandits forever, and she just basically cleans up after them after they party and shit. And so she has to keep this kidnapping victim quiet so that they can receive the ransom. And if you think about it, that's also kind of a maybe a more Gnostic take on the story of Eros and Pscyche, because it's within this depth of filth that you find the union of love and the soul, right? It's within this purgatory, this hell-like state, that you actually find the connection between your soul and the primordial one, the primordial essence, right? And so there's a kind of even deeper allegory that I think is going on in the Golden Ass that's absent a lot of other versions. But, you know, this myth of Eros and Pscyche almost comes up out of nowhere. It's meta storytelling within the story itself, because the story of this kidnap victim, which really sounds a lot like Pscyche, is happening as he's a donkey. He's observing as these bandits have taken him. He's observing that these bandits have also kidnapped this woman, and this woman is speaking to a slave inside of this thing, and the slave is telling her the story. So we've got like 3 or 4 different layers of narrative happening as this whole thing is commencing. And unless you're like really paying attention, you get lost at the details. It's like, who's talking? What the hell are they saying? Why the hell are we talking about Eros and Pscyche? Aren't we talking about this donkey now? But all of these elements come together and give you sort of like this view from inside the donkey's eyes of this slave woman telling the story to this kidnapping victim. But what happens in the myth of Eros and Pscyche is very close to what happens to this kidnapping victim, because as this old woman is telling her this tale to keep her quiet, her lover, the one that she was actually betrothed to, the one that she was kidnapped on her wedding day, that's why she's so emotional, that guy shows up and gets these bandits super drunk, right? He starts letting off of the water and only getting them really drunk so that he can rescue his betrothed from this cave of misery. kind of like how Eros does to Cupid, or to Psyche, as she is put through these trials, right? So what ends up happening is she ends up getting homesick and wanting to go see her family, right? So she's the one who initiates this process of the destruction, the leaving of the divine for the human. So she's reached this level of divinity where now she has to worry for nothing, right? So she's completely a kept woman. The rest of her family thinks she's dead, or she's been married off to this horrible thing.
Right. Now, who's Psyche's family?
But just a group of people. I can pull up their names, but I didn't think they were as significant.
I got you.
I could be wrong, but I'm reading this in Latin, which was in the version of the Golden Ass, so they might not have gone for the Greek. Because it's funny, the Golden Ass is a Latin-based story told about the Greek world. So Thessaly is where the Golden Ass takes place. And yes, wolf bitches of Thessaly. That's why I thought it was a real thing, is because I knew about fucking the Golden Ass.
Wolf bitches.
Yeah, wolf bitches.
Hey,
might as well be a real thing.
Yeah, and now reading the Volsunga saga, we have the wolf bitches of Jotland, or Gothland. So, shouts out, wolf. Dude, that story is crazy. I can say it later if you want me to. I don't want to get into all that right now. I could go for a while talking about that stuff, but anyway, Headless, wolf bitches of Golgotha.
Wow, that would be truly interesting. Oh boy! So, do you got their names pulled up?
I am
Golden Ass. We never pulled up.
All right, so hold on. Whoa, an unnamed king and queen was born. Psyche, the Greek goddess of the soul, was born a mortal princess, the youngest of 3 daughters to an unnamed king and queen.
That's interesting. So yeah, they did give their names in this book, but the idea was that she wanted to go back home and to make sure that her family knows that she's not, because that's what's destroying her right now, is she's spending eternity in paradise, and she knows her family is living through hell. And so she goes back. Cupid lets her leave, and so as she comes back, her family can't even believe it. They think she's a ghost or something. They believe that they've been beset with the worst kind of luck imaginable, and that this was all for naught, whatever. But she comes back, and they're like, "Holy fuck! I didn't know how." And then as she's leaving, she's like, "Look, this is all I can tell you, is that there's this wealthy guy that's having me there, and everything's perfect, and you don't have to worry about me anymore. You don't have to cry about me anymore. I'll be fine." Well, the sisters are like, "Take us with you." And as sisters do, they get really fucking jealous. And they ruin it. So she tells the sisters the one rule that she has to abide by, right? Which is, I can't look at him. And they think, well, that's weird and everything. But one of the sisters is like, you know what? Fuck this bitch. She gets to live here like this. Fuck this goddamn bitch. She's the prettiest ever, and now she gets to spend eternity in heaven. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tell her that he doesn't love you. That's why you can't look at him.
Wow.
And so And so once the seed was planted, that's when it all started to unravel, right? She takes him back home. They all, go back to the family and say everything's perfect with her, and she's going to spend eternity in heaven with this amazing guy, and it's incredible. And it's not incredible, because as he's sleeping, she's like, "Well, what if he doesn't know that I look at him?" So as he's sleeping, again, the soul desires more than it could possibly handle. You can find this in the myth of Pandora as well. Pandora's box. She was told specifically not to look at that box.
For Saturday, by the way, before I forget, mark this down for Saturday because you're coming on to read the Golden Ass Saturday morning. Then we're doing part 2 on Patreon, Mysteries of the Druids, getting into Gaul and Britannia. Well, Albion, but whatever. So yeah, be sure we can definitely talk about this. But sorry, I just had to say something before I forgot.
Right. Well, one of the reasons why she couldn't look at him is because he was ordered to do the exact opposite thing that he was doing by his mother, Aphrodite. And so as soon as the glamour was broken, right, because she kind of let him be invisible, as soon as that glamour was broken, she was going to know about it, and then it would all be over. And now, once it all crumbles, Pscyche has to go stand in front of Aphrodite. And Aphrodite decides that she's going to rake this bitch over the coals. Like, now it's hell time, right? You've defied me long enough. I'm a goddess. You ain't shit. I'm going to teach you exactly what everything's about. So she starts making her do these, again, it's like trials. Like everything in the Greek system, if you're going to torture somebody, you're going to give them trials to do. So she's got to dig through shit to find corn or something, over and over again. They're giving these ridiculous trials. I can pull them up here. And basically, she's trying to win back her lost lover, but she's given absolutely no hope that could ever happen. Right? So she's been cast out, and now she has to win him back. And so that's why she approaches Aphrodite and says, here's what I want, right? I want to get Cupid back, your son, and I'll do anything for him. And so now Aphrodite gets to treat her like shit. So desperate to win him back, Pscyche undertakes a series of nearly impossible tasks set by Aphrodite, including sorting mixed grains, gathering a golden fleece from a dangerous sheep. It's all about the golden fleece, guys. If you don't have a golden fleece, what the fuck?
Wow.
Seriously.
Great Pill Golden Fleeces. Coming to the Shopify.
Coming soon.
And fetching water from the river Styx. With the help of the nature gods, again, why are we talking about it? Because now all the rustic gods come to the aid of Pscyche, or the soul. Does this sound a little bit like magic?
Yeah.
Kind of does, right?
Yeah.
Like you're doing these tasks for the nature spirits who are helping you out along your journey, along your path. And those nature spirits are kind of primal and a little bit scary, but they're also here to aid you in your journey. Weird. With help from nature and the gods, she completes them all. Her final task is to retrieve a box of beauty from the underworld. This is the redemption of Pandora, right? Pandora was the first woman. Pscyche represents the fullness of womankind, the completion of this horrible mistake made at the beginning of the world, also where they get the Adam and Eve motif from. So her final task is to retrieve a box of beauty from the underworld, but she opens it out of curiosity, falling into a deep sleep. Eros finds her, awakens her with a kiss, and brings her to Mount Olympus. What does this sound like? Every single princess story throughout all of history has had these sort of elements because it all came through the myth of Eros and Pscyche.
Really?
Yes, sir. All of the princess myths. Anything Disney did, it started here. This is the ultimate. Like Eros was saying in the chat, this is the Disney myth. That's where it all comes from. So, right, but she opens it out of curiosity, falling to sleep. So on Mount Olympus, Zeus grants her immortality, and she becomes a goddess marrying Eros in sacred union. Again, it's the elevation of the soul to godhood. Right?
Well, this comes from her seeing Eros, right?
Bingo.
This divine covenant that she broke somehow. So when she would go to visit Eros, like you said, she was carried away, right? By these zephyrs. Where would Eros be when they would talk, or when, you know?
Well, Eros had duties.
Was he like I don't know, was he behind some like some kind of veil or something?
It was far more on her part, so she was definitely not looking at him. But the same thing applies. Like he was trying hard not to be seen as well. So they kind of had that interplay between hiding and So his voice would be booming out and say, these are the things that you have to do. And so the sisters, as they were there, they didn't see him either. He has sort of godly duties to perform, so he's not there a lot. And so he comes back occasionally. So she's staying there and he's out, because in Greek society, women weren't allowed to leave the house. It's funny.
I'm sure they were a lot safer.
Yeah. The myth is often interpreted as an allegory of the soul's journey towards divine love, symbolizing the need for trust, inner transformation, and the dangers of doubt and over-analysis in love. It inspired countless retellings, including Beauty and the Beast and modern psychological concepts like psychology. Is our way of trying to find beauty and love. Psychology. It's fucking crazy. But how's that working out? Just like Themis. Have you guys ever heard of Themis before? She's the goddess that you see holding up the scales, and she has the sword, and she's Lady Justice. Themis and DK. She's also a triple goddess as well. She's spit on every time you go into the courtroom, and psychology is spitting in the face of Pscyche. Right? So all of our modern concepts of these awesome concepts that the Greeks left us is a total inversion of the actual stuff that the Greeks were talking about. Ma'at, there we go. Sense. Ma'at and Themis. What's interesting about Themis is that Themis is the second oracle at Delphi, right? So the first one was Gaia. The second is Themis, right? Themis is also an earthy goddess, right? But she becomes the second oracle. The first one is Mother Earth. The first one is the dreams of the mother. And the dreams of the mother is a theme that we see playing out with this cave motif associated with the Delphic oracles all the time. It's like you're back in the womb of the mother. This is where the gods lived beneath the surface of Gaia before springing out onto the surface of the earth. And so this is where the primordial sleep comes in. And again, you see this in Eros and Pscyche as well. Like when she falls asleep, she's back into the realm of the gods. She's taken to Mount Olympus. There's this dreaming aspect. It's almost like the dream cures, or the dream helps or shows the path forward. Mm-hmm. Right? That's the constant sort of refrain. And they're really upfront with it. Like it's not just a vision. It's also part of the biological process of sleep, you know?
Right.
These are important things to consider as well. And if you think about it, the way we experience the union of love of the gods, love with the gods, is to have dreams about them, right? So the Hyros Gamos can take place, but through a different state of consciousness.
Yeah. I mean, you see this all throughout these ancient stories, even in the Sumerian stories, when you hear about what's his name, Utnapishtim, whenever he receives the message, to build the ark or whatever, he basically receives it it's in well, you'd think it was in a vision or a dream, but it was actually Inky talking to his house, because Inky had made a covenant with his brother. His brother was all about covenants. Isn't that funny? And to not
contract god.
Yeah, to not speak to the humans about what is supposed, to come, which would be the flood, right? And so he has to talk to Utnapishtim or Ziasudra's reed hut, his reed hut, right? Like the Reed Sea. But yeah, no, you hear about that a lot, then they kind of go to this place and, you think it's this other realm. Some people would interpret it maybe as like, a portal opens and you walk in, and into this other dimension. And it's I don't know though. I think it is more towards like a dream or vision type of thing going on. And that's fascinating that she was betrothed to a god, through this process of dreaming, right?
Bingo.
So how I don't know. So her sisters were just jealous of her.
Well, of course, like the Greeks were very very direct when it came to their disdain for female psychology. They hated it, right? And they would tell you about it any chance they could, how much they hate feminine psychology, because it again is very self-destructive. And so in the sisters' jealousy, they create hatred, and then that's when they plant the seeds to kind of destroy their own sister, even though they may not fully intend to. It's just sort of like a careless sort of thing for them. It's like, well, now I feel jealous, therefore I have to take you out. And there's not really a whole lot of thought put into it at all. They just sort of get jealous. And again, that's the jealous stepsister motif, right? We see that with Cinderella as well. These two jealous, angry stepsisters treat her like shit, even though they look like, ugly pieces of shit. And they don't get the attention of the prince. Again, this Pscyche and Eros kind of figure again. But this is the Disney myth, and people don't know it. This is I got it pulled up here. I'm going to start where the old woman is talking to this kidnap victim and trying to soothe her. The old woman echoed back the girl's sighs. "Cheer up, my young lady," she said. "Don't get the wind up because of the meaningless scurry of a dream. For besides that, the images of a daydream are said to be mere fantasy, you often find that the visions of the nights go by contraries in what they express. For instance, weeping or being beaten sometimes, having your throat slit means that you're coming onto money or meeting with a windfall, while you're on the other hand, laughter at a good belly full of honey cakes or finding yourself a bride of a lovely sudden portends that you're going to be a sad of heart or sick of body or afflicted in some way or other. But I'll do my best to take your mind off of your troubles with some pretty fablings and old wives' tales." So she's telling this girl, sometimes getting these bad omens is actually a good thing, and sometimes getting good omens is actually a bad thing, which is funny that she would point that out. It starts, as all great fables do. "Once upon a time, there lived in a certain city a king and queen, and they had 3 daughters, remarkably beautiful. But though the 2 elder girls were as comely as you could wish, it didn't strike you dumb with despair to have a look at them, while for the youngest girl, all man's praising words were too poor to touch, let alone becomingly adorn a beauty so glorious, so victorious. Citizens in crowds and droves of pilgrims were attracted by the fame of the extraordinary spectacle. They passed about her and stood moonstruck with wonder at her unapproachable loveliness. They raised their right hands to their lips, laying a thumb and forefinger together and throwing her a kiss of reverence. as though it were a goddess Venus herself that they adored. Already the word had gone abroad through the nearby cities and bordering countries that a goddess had been brought forth by the deep blue womb of ocean and nourished by the froth and curling waves, and that she now dwelt among the mortals, allowing them to gaze promiscuously on her divinity. Or that, at the very least, Venus had a second birth, this time from earth, not from water, a Venus endowed with the flower of virginity and germinated from a distillation of the stars. Lots of alchemical symbolism in there.
Yes.
But I mean, again, you have to apply this idea to the idea of the soul inside of each one of ourselves. So what they're saying is this is the capacity for beauty inside of the soul. Right.
I was going to get into, I didn't know if you're going to take it this far into like kind of like the self or psychology or anything, but
that's what I was.
Eros. I mean, you could even start getting into like what Plato was talking about love. I mean, even looking at that and how he looked at that, I do think in some ways, like when he's talking about the forms and stuff like that, he talks about like you couldn't be a king philosopher unless you've had these experiences and understood this stuff, I think. And sometimes I do wonder when he's talking about Eros or love, if he's actually talking about kind of like pure love of the abyss as well. Like that feeling that you have. And there was one thing I do find that's interesting is that Eros, I mean, it does match the word rose. You will get the same letters out of that. That's a symbol of beauty. You know what I'm saying? And I do say, I put roses in my shit all the time because it's something that I've seen before I have an experience. So it's just a lot of that stuff. I do wonder if even if Eros is kind of like pure love.
What does the donkey have to eat before he becomes back into a human?
A rose.
The rose.
Okay. Beauty and the Beast, right? What does the beast have in that glass case? A magical rose to break the spell to turn him back into a man, dude. This is like an ancient grimoire, I'm pretty sure. I think that's what that comes from, but that whole story.
Go
ahead.
Well, I was just going to say most of those grim fairy tales, right? What do you think? Grimoire, right? Brothers Grimm. Yeah, no one ever.
I never got grimoire. I never put that. That's good.
Yeah, those stories. They have a lot more meaning than we think. And but yeah, no, you find stuff like that. They have to break the spell by doing something or crossing the threshold, right? Facing the dweller, or what someone said earlier, the hero's journey. In this case, it would be I think they said the hero's journey for princesses or for goddesses.
Right. Well, for a man, like that's like the highest thing you could attain in Greek society was a good woman. And that's why they were so down on female psychology.
Is it not still like that?
Well, yeah, you've got that.
It's hard to find a good woman.
Right. Yeah.
I know y'all are out there, ladies. And I have a pretty good one, dude. She dyed her hair back to her natural, like,
oh shit, okay.
Her natural. Oh, it's so hot. Stop. Yeah, very excited.
Greeks were simps. Well, hardly, dude. They were very much not the simpy type. Anytime they get a chance to bash women, they do it. Just read any classical Greek literature. It's like, and then the woman, that horrible bitch, like they will put in a comma, that horrible bitch, and then they'll let into it. It's funny. It's like every time they have to make it very clear. And there's nothing but horrible bitches in this whole thing. Like there's these women who are murdering guys. There's this, they're doing terrible things. Like mostly it's just a guy's sort of like frustration at women. That's what this book is, I think, in a lot of ways. But what they try and do is they try and say, you've got to perfect yourself because yourself is the union of both Eros and Pscyche. And this is how you cause that rose to bloom, which I think is a very hopeful aspect of the whole thing. Every day the tale. Go ahead.
Oh no! Well, one last thing I was going to say, it's also a sign of rebirth, right? So,
right? Like, I think this is the sort of, human led, because there's nothing more beautiful than a baby, right? We're looking at Cupid as the baby, but here they're talking about, there's nothing more perfect than the psychology, the mind of a child. It's curious at the world. It's, it's patient. It's loving. It's all these things that are, uncorrupted. And that's sort of how this tale starts out, as this uncorrupted beauty.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, and, it goes back to her seeing him as a baby. And then as she kind of develops this consciousness, she sees him as, the God that he is. And, her perception of him also develops.
Right. Well, I mean, this very last line in the first paragraph, she goes, and germinated from a distillation of the stars. I mean, that's talking about astrology right there. Like, your soul is descended from the stars. It's taken from the stuff of stars, and that's how you are imbued with upon your birth. Like, that's a very bingo, right? That's very hermetic. Like, this is the roots of all of that stuff. These are the poems that really talk about how they viewed themselves, in a very philosophical sense. Oh, sorry, right? Every day the tale drifted further. Soon the neighboring islands, most of the mainland scores of provinces, were echoing with the news. Many were the hurrying men that made long journeys by land and over the deep seas only to gaze upon the splendid product of the age. Could you imagine sailing so you could go see a woman that they say is the most beautiful? I mean, it's something to do, obviously.
Oh, dude, I'd love to sail back in the day.
Oh, man, the Greeks were scared of sailing because it was always associated with death, I mean, do it? Exactly. There we go.
Who's new?
Mother Space.
Yeah.
Mother
Yeah,
Space,
for
Father
sure.
Time.
That is the first chapter in the Book of the Laws, based on the goddess Nuit.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And it is in this style, too. Like, he's talking about this fantastic love affair between Nuit and this point, right? How
Is
did
that in? Well, never mind.
Book of the Law?
What kind of goddess that was?
She was like this overarching goddess of the
Yeah.
sky. She was a goddess of the stars. I call her the space goddess.
Yep.
I didn't know from what culture.
Oh, Egyptian.
Yeah. Okay. I figured. That's not the same as nut, right?
Yeah, kind of.
That is not. Right.
Okay.
He just put his
it is
pronunciation.
nut. Okay. Nut and
Right.
Geb.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
But Nut and Geb have a lot in common with Baal and Tanit as well.
Yes.
Like, Baal is like the little tiny point, and he's above Tanit. In the other version, she's
you say
above
that.
him.
That's funny you say that, dude. And that actually, they may confirm something for me, Pantheon chart wise. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, think about it. So, have you seen the steles with Tanit?
I didn't know who
on it?
Tanit was before I met you. So
Okay.
you're the one who pointed out on the Vanderbilt and that picture of the mother with Anderson Cooper and the bedroom, that scene or the piece of art that's on the wall. I always knew that was like, I figured it was Eros Kagal, right? The goddess of the underworld, maybe Kali, some like other veneration of Kali. It looked more like a Rus goddess or something like a Slavic, kind of goddess, but definitely
thing that still throws me about Tanit is the fact that all of the other artwork is far more complicated than the signs for Tanit.
Yo, Pata, you dude, it makes sense. It makes sense because it is Inki. It makes sense. That archetype is very highly sexualized. As it says in the Mesopotamian writings, pouring his semen into everyone. Woman, that is. I hope. Maybe. Probably. I don't know, dude.
Everyone means everyone.
They were doing scientific experiments too. So
questions of the what was it called?
That's
Mary
crazy though, dude.
Magdalene. Questions of Mary Magdalene. Have you guys ever heard of that one?
The Jedi? Sorry, Headless.
Have you ever heard of the questions of Mary Magdalene, the apocryphal text?
No.
So this was supposedly where Jesus takes Mary Magdalene aside and tells her that she's got to drink his essence and eat his crumb. Yeah. Well, it's
People are
from the
already
fourth.
going, no. What? Hold on, Headless. What happened?
Okay, let me find it. It's questions of Mary Magdalene.
I said no.
Apocryphal. Yeah. It's uh-oh. You're giving me try again.
Try again.
Yeah, what is this garbage?
What do you
Okay.
mean?
No, the Gospel of Mary Magdalene presents a prominent leader, vision, apostle to the apostles. No, that's not what I want. Not the Gospel. The Lost Greater Questions of Mary. That's what it's called. The Lost Greater Questions of Mary.
Let's read about that.
Yeah. So you were talking about Ptah sucking his own wee wee. Well, in The Lost Greater Questions of Mary, he makes her do it.
Who?
Jesus makes her do it.
No.
Yeah.
Can
That's
you
what
read
this
this?
4th century is. Yeah, it's let me look it up.
What do you mean makes her? You know totally well she wanted to.
I was gonna say, dude.
I mean, come
It's
on.
weird, dude. Like to read this thing, you're like, what the hell
Yeah.
are you doing?
She's like, I'm gonna be that one bitch that tops Jesus off.
Well, she wasn't thinking about that. Maybe she was. But again, like
You know what kind of bragging rights that is for a chick?
right, there is this huge industry of religious poetry that would create this stuff. Bart Ehrman blog. Oh, great. I just want the text. Why do I want Bart Ehrman blog? Is the first.
Oh God, Bart Ehrman.
Yeah, he's the first link. I want the PDF. PDF. I don't want to listen to Bart Ehrman tell me about it. Yeah, I get it. It was 4th century, obviously. Where is it? Ah, there's no PDF. Why is there no PDF? Oh, here we go. No, it's not here. The Lost Greater Questions of Mary. If anybody has that PDF, send it to me. Maybe we'll read it on the Rustic God. But no, the idea is that a lot of these followers were still trying to incorporate a lot of the really much older religious poetry and literature. So they kept on trying to make this apocrypha, trying to jam it into Christianity because there was really no room to keep these older myths alive. And so they would create stuff like the Lost Greater Myths of Mary because they were trying to include stuff about Ptah.
But okay, so how do we get from Ptah to the Bach saga? What happens in the Lost Greater Myths? I mean, besides what you said, the performing acts of fellatio, does something else happen? Because there's people that brought up Bach saga, so now I'm.
I think there is something. Well, again, it's the sex cult. The sex cult believes that there is a power in the seed, right? The seed of life itself is what brings about the explosion of life. So the woman would be the garden and the man would be the seed, right? So there's a power in the seed. And so that's what all of these sort of societies were looking at, especially when you're talking about Geb and Nuit, right? So Geb and Nut, like he's a tiny, tiny particle and she's the entire sky. But when they come together, that's when you have the explosion of life, right? So it's the idea of the ineffably small and the ineffably large, the macrocosm, microcosm. It's the seed and the fertility spell. It's how it's going. I mean, unless you look at all of these things in context, you don't really get the energy for it. But once you understand that there is some sort of a uniting line between all of these ideas, and then you can sort of follow that into human behavior, and you see how people behave sometimes when they're given the option of eating the fruit, I guess. One way to put it.
Yeah, well, I guess, I mean, people have referred to it as gaining the knowledge.
Crowley was into it.
I've heard some people like Eamon Hillman talk about stuff like that. You know,
I bet Eamon Hillman was into it too at one point.
Eamon Hillman wish he blew Jesus.
Yep.
Fucking guy.
Shots fired.
The way the way he talks to people is just fucking hilarious.
Yo, somebody clip that and send it to me.
See it. I'm just
Yeah.
I'm like, dude. I'm like, man, this guy is seriously I mean, he's about his business, you know. He definitely believes what he talks about. But I find it interesting. Some people are characters, man.
He seems like a drugged out wild man to me, and the person he's describing that Jesus is,
or maybe
is a drugged out wild man. And he's saying, isn't Jesus so bad for being a drugged out wild man? It's like, dude, that's the same character you're playing. So which is it?
Well, yeah, like I said, I've seen a couple of his videos on one of his channels, or maybe somebody that does his like just posts his videos on channels follow me. And so because I'd heard of him, but I never really watched stuff. But it's very interesting.
Well,
You know,
I think it goes back.
that I feel that religion, or even that book, you know, whatever, however you want to look at it, I think there is some positive to it, and I do think that there is a lot of occult symbolism behind it. And I think that guy will make you think things that'll just make you totally discredit all of it. And that's about it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, no, there's a lot of people like that, but yeah, dude, I
just think it's
I
silly.
definitely know what you mean. I mean, you read it, and I mean, I guess some people don't see it, but someone like us reads it, and they see a you know, a story that's not really told when you just look at it from an exoteric point of view, right? So
I don't think we'd ever fully know, because it's like, how do we really know these words was really interpreting?
Exactly. Well, how did the people who wrote those down knew what they were interpreting? Like,
that's why art is so important, because it doesn't matter. You don't have to know the language. You just have to know the symbols.
Symbols, yeah, man. And that's why the subversion of those symbols is one of the biggest, you know, psyops.
Well, if we're going to track it logically, I think you could see the progression from art to writing, right? So in art, you've got these motifs that you repeat over and over again that are recognizable to your people, right? And so in the writing, you have these similar motifs that they use over and over again that transmit this message to your people, that the thing that you want to portray, it's the thing that they'll catch on to if they've heard that symbolism before. For instance, the golden ass is just retelling the myth of Eros and Pscyche from an earlier telling. So they just include this myth from an earlier telling, and then they've incorporated this sort of religious poetry into another work, right? So they take the motif. Those motifs are made up of all of these other little parts from all these other different civilizations. I think there's a lot of Mesopotamian in the myth of Eros and Pscyche too, right? And so what you have to do is you got to understand that these are the most popular threads, the most popular veins as the religious, poetic motifs that end up surviving. So we know of these deep connections because other people took this popular thing and started to apply their own logic to it. And they said, how is this a reflection of our souls? Like, this is a word for our souls. And now we've got the journey of our souls. We've got the union of our souls and love, right? There's something deeper here. And so we're benefiting from knowing the accumulation of all of this knowledge in this religious poetry. But if you look at it as a dogma, you kind of lose all of that.
Yep. You absolutely, Headless. I
concur.
Yeah. But when you understand the symbolism and all of that throughout, all the motifs and the all the stuff that correlates throughout all these cultures, you know that there is something deeper there, esoterically, right? And so I think that's important to remember, just so we don't discount everything, right? But
I mean,
Well,
that's
the
even, the whole
dogma,
thing, even like in art or symbolism, like a fucking leaf could literally be drawn a certain way to mean something.
yes,
I mean, everything, the details, like you have no idea, you know what I'm saying? So hard to, very,
and you also, like you just said, a leaf, you can see things in nature, right, that are divine. Like, you see certain symbols in like wood, or you see it like somebody will, there's certain bugs that have like, I'm sure maybe I could find one and pull one up. What's the one, like the death moth or whatever, has the skull on it?
oh yeah, yes,
Stuff
I
like that.
know.
But there's,
Yeah.
more.
The monarch butterfly.
There's a
You know,
lot.
if
Yeah,
you
I
look
was about to say
lot
there's
of
a
that
lot more
stuff,
beautiful things.
there's always some weird thing about those insects and
Fractal,
animals
yeah.
that you always see used in occult symbolism. There's like
Fractal
something
coding in
special and
nature.
weird about them that I think sometimes is the reason they're used.
you've got trees that will produce a leaf that's in a pattern like a bug, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they'll say that the tree is trying to attract the bug. How did the tree see the bug?
Right?
Yeah.
How did the tree see the bug? That's the thing that nobody has any answers for. You've got to turn to something else. Something
has
else
a
is
connection with the
intervening
bug.
here.
Has a
Right.
connection with the
Something-
bug.
Yeah.
Is there a field? Is there some sort of a god,
Yeah,
goddess,
different way
spirit?
they see it.
Right. So that's what I'm talking. Like, that's the evidence of the divine right there. Like, you've got to dig into that and try and figure that stuff out, because that stuff is that's the ladder, right? We talk about theurgy. That's the ladder. When you find things that don't belong and you can't figure out how they actually fit, that's evidence of something that you need to learn, something you need to grow in that perspective of.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was talking about with the different cultures and all these stories, but you see these underlying motifs and themes in all of them. And you're like, well, these can't be the same, but it's the message, the hidden message behind the story, right? And that's what the symbolism kind of shows us, if you can read it. But people will discount it all as satanic, or, this is all, and it's like, yeah, they've subverted the meanings of all of these things and indoctrinated everybody with that, right?
Right. Well, in terms of what we're doing as a species, I think we find that it's stories like this that give us a little bit more of a perspective on how ancient man viewed the soul, ancient man viewed these things. And so if this is the culmination of their perceptions of the soul and the righteousness, unrighteousness, these symbols that are being included in this religious poetry, I think it's really important to give it a try. Go through the myth of Eros and Pscyche. You can find the PDF to the Golden Ass, and you can find the specific section. It's like 20 pages in the middle there. And it's really good, because now you've got a clue as to what they thought of themselves. And getting that clue, I think, helps us in figuring out what we really are. And so going over all of this stuff may seem tedious at first, but once you get into it, it's like, wow, they were onto something, and I can actually relate to them a lot better than a lot of other groups of people that may do other religious practices, right? Like stoning people to death. But maybe that's not the people that we want to emulate, is the mob that goes out there with stones and then kills somebody with rocks because they don't like the fact that they said the name of their god wrong. That might not be the be all end all of society. Just saying. Like, that might not be the golden age.
I get me some golden ass. You can get you some golden ass. You can I'll be putting I'm gonna say, I think Subliminal even made a bookmark, a golden ass bookmark. Hey, listen, it's hilarious.
What's funny is the original word for this book is metamorphosis. Like, that was the name of the book originally. And then they called it the golden ass because in Latin, calling something golden is like saying it's good, right? So the good ass. It was the good donkey.
So that's why Pscyche's represented as a butterfly, is because she went through a transformation.
Bingo.
Okay. Oh,
and it's why you see it mostly associated with the Monarch mind control program, because it's how you transform souls. There
I wanted
we go.
to get into that.
Right.
What do you think there's something behind that as far as the symbolism?
The symbolism is so obvious. It's like we can be their transformation. We can be their dark night of the soul. They'll do anything we tell them to after traumatizing them to a certain level.
I was about to say, yeah, through trauma, they can transfer that. Yeah. Yeah, man. I think we talked about this on our spider symbolism episode.
Right.
Yeah, that we did with
okay.
Yeah. King of Cups. That there is something to do with the butterfly and that whole MK Ultra aspect of the psyche, them having a grip on your psyche, right? And being able to create other psyches branching off of this one and control them, shape them.
Right. It's a bastardization, because in the original, right, the original idea here is that the divine reaches out to you.
So is that the inversion of the goddess or whatever?
What do you mean?
Through something like that, like you said, like the
Eros Kagal or something like that.
Yes, like the dark side to the dark side to that archetype.
Well, I think there's this constant kind of melding of love and war goddesses all throughout the Mesopotamian region. And you get that same idea in the Greeks. Like love and war are like constantly united.
Yeah.
And, everywhere you go in the ancient world, like they're either loving each other or hating each other. And that love and hate really start to look like one thing after a while. And so instead of, Eros Kagal going down in the underworld, and what was his name? Nergal. Right?
Yeah.
Right? So you've also got the idea of the kidnap by Pluto
and Persephone,
right, taking her down to the underworld. And this is sort of a continuation of that same sort of theme, but in this version, it's the god reaching out to mortals, and then mortals reaching back up towards the god throughout all of these different difficulties and struggles, right? So it's sort of like a two-way road, instead of just talking about love and war and rebirth into this sort of horrible place. Now you've got this union of both God and man, right? Which is threatening to some people, but I think that the idea that the gods are talking to us isn't that threatening, really, when it comes down to it. Like, maybe you should take it back a step and say, the gods are talking to us, but it's coming through me. And since I'm a fallible person, maybe I don't want to be so certain about what it is I'm getting, because maybe there's an interplay of fate going on here instead of just like a dogmatic fate, right? Like, what I'm being told is important by the gods, but is it something that I really have a right to impose on other people who can also get their messages from the gods, right? The idea of God and man being unified without an intercessor is something that seems very dangerous to a lot of people. It's one of the reasons why you never see Hermeticism taking off. Like, there's always a church to stand in the way and sort of
right. Well, it's like, you let these other people interpret these things for you, right? And I don't think you can get the complete truth out of that.
Well,
I think
what has that led to?
It.
It's led to AI being the final interpreter, because who's a better intercessor than the machine? No emotions there, no human stuff to get in the way. Well, actually, except for the programming. But all of this priesthood, all of this credentialism, all of that stuff has culminated in the birth of the ultimate credential, AI.
So do you think there was like a, I guess you could say, sort of a egregoric aspect to the Pscyche thing with MK Ultra by them using the butterfly and all this stuff, people getting it tattooed on them and it being used in music videos. And, you know, it's a common symbol and a common image that's used, you know?
Yeah, I think so. I think if you look at a lot of Aquino's work, he talks about using the cultural symbols to sort of relay a new message. And it's one that may be picked up on a subconscious level, but you know at some level that they're inverting the cultural image and they're taking it from what it was and turning it into something else. And now we've got this sort of MK Ultra Project Monarch butterfly as the symbol of being brought under somebody else's boot, instead of actually freeing you from the paradigm. You're actually free to be imprisoned by the paradigm.
Headless, in every episode we've done with the Aristeas, with the Begonia ritual, like we have found how the powers that be have inverted all of these ancient traditions.
Right. And it's not the first time. I would say Abrahamism is an inversion of a lot of these older principles. They took a lot of these pagan beliefs, flipped them upside down, and fed them back to the society. And people picked it up because it sounded like something from their past. It sounded like something from their ancestry. It sounded really familiar, actually.
Except this time there's a Jewish egregore attached to it.
Right. And so if you can switch it again, if you can keep doing these great resets based upon the inversion of these older symbols, why wouldn't you try it? It worked out that first time. Maybe we can pull something like that off again. Maybe we can tell people that freedom is slavery, that the butterfly belongs in the cage.
And people need to know, I'm not saying that there's some giant, like, multi-dimensional Jew in the sky as an egregore. No, it has power, right? Just in itself. And that's why
Romans 15:27.
The mental, well, that's why the mental plane is so powerful,
vital. Again, you've got these 7 holy sciences, right? The 7 holy sciences, which would be the trivium and the quadrivium, and these are very old. They go back a long way. But you find, again, they say the gods of the old gods were teaching these people bad things, right? And the gods being these planetary essences being connected to the 7 holy sciences now means all of this knowledge, all of the way to acquire knowledge is now a bad thing as well. So anytime you see people preaching about elevating your psyche through knowledge and work and doing all of this stuff to create a better person, those are actually bad people. And you've got to get rid of them from society because they're preaching about that pagan knowledge. And that pagan knowledge should not be tolerated. So it's the same kind of inversion every time. And what do they tell you on the internet? If you know somebody who's being controversial, you've got to get them out of your life because those thoughts can be dangerous to your health. And we're inverting all of those things. And you may feel a connection to it because it has some sort of a vague connection to love. Like we're going out in the streets and protesting ICE out of love somehow. Love for who? Well, do we want to get replaced by, all these migrants? Not really, but we love them because we have to love them because he first loved us. And so there's this constant sort of pushing down of love to the lowest common denominator instead of trying to love the highest principles, right? The higher principles are what you should be loving and not this constant need to coddle and protect all of the people who've kind of made their own bed. I mean, if you come here illegally, what are you expecting? I mean, does anybody expect to have a good life when they travel across borders and go against customs that they know is important for the people there? No. You don't,
listen,
you don't have a good life from that.
I've said it before. Do I agree with, like, if I move to Italy and I get fucked because I never went there legally? Yeah, I think that's kind of fucking stupid. But you know what? I knew what I was getting myself into when I did that.
Right.
I don't get it.
Well, you've got to excuse some behavior because of love. Like love can be weaponized just as easily as hatred. And a lot of people don't understand that. This is how you keep getting fucked over is people are grabbing your love, they're dragging you around by it. And they can because they've kind of prepackaged all of their ideas of love and put them into you, right? So you can't have an authentic connection because it's duty now. It's not love. Love is not duty.
And then you have people saying that, you know, certain religions have been spreading, you know, they used to mean something different and people have like subverted it. But you hear the story of, I think I may have been listening to one of your spaces that you were doing, the story of not Constantine, Charlemagne. And how he invited all these pagan tribes to like feast with him out of good faith and all this stuff, and then just fucking massacred all of them.
35,000 of them.
And that's what started the raids on England. And and they wanted to just blame that. And it's like, no, you have there's retribution, there's consequences for your actions. I didn't know that there were Jews in his court though.
Oh yeah,
I thought it was just like the first kings, like the first Saxon kings and stuff, like Egbert and all those people.
Well, I haven't fully tracked back all of the bloodlines of these ancient kings, but it seems to me like they were probably really closely related to the Canaanite Phoenicians because they all draw their lineage back to King David, right? So you've got a lot of these mercenaries working for the Canaanite Phoenicians as the masters of their armies. What happens after the Punic Wars? Well, they go back home, but they're still sort of kept on record as being the contacts for those societies. Now, you could just come back in with Christendom and then make those people king because their family ancestrally helped out your family hundreds of years before. And so now you can choose who the rulers are based upon how you rule the religion. So this gambit of going the religious route allowed them to create the form of kingship that we see all throughout.
But we can't choose our rulers. They have to be, you know,
they have to draw back to King David. Now, why the hell does a European ruler have to draw back to King David? They've messed up the past completely with that book. None of these people came from the Levant. None of these people were related to King David. But all the people who were loyal to the Canaanite Phoenicians in the Punic Wars, they certainly did draw their lineage from King David in a symbolic way, right? Yeah. This is how they got their authority. Well, so maybe it makes sense.
It is some way of saying like David, because like it's the same when you see like all of the gods and even humans in the sagas and all the Germanic sagas and the Norse sagas, Odin is their father, right? But I think it was someone else in your space was saying, even when you go back and read some of the oldest Saxon writings, King Alfred was considered a son of Wotan.
Right.
So it's like, you know, what are we doing here?
Well, the ancestral gods motif is so strong throughout all of this Proto-Indo-European society. We were talking about it today with Heather, right? She was talking about these shining ones coming down from the north and bestowing upon them all of this knowledge and setting up this society that sort of had this barrier between the elites and the rest of the people as this priesthood class. It's like, well, yeah, but that's kind of the way it's always been. Like you've got this group of people who claim to be better than everybody else, giving everybody else this story and then, you know, repeating the same sort of cycles in that story. It's kind of how it is with this story and too, then, except.
Oh, sorry, Headless. No, I was going to say people think that, you know, they couldn't deceive people 2,000 years ago. The deception is just now, right? This is just the great deception. This is they're only, you know, it's like, no, like, and we didn't have the information we have now.
Well, you know what I mean? They were smarter than us back then. They were smarter than us back then. We need to admit it. 2,000 years ago, people, for the most part, had to know more skills, had to be better at the things that they did every day, or else they would lose fingers, eyes, toes. They had to be on top of everything because they were dealing with very unforgiving materials every single day. We've gotten weak and we've gotten soft because of the fact that we deal with stuff that's designed for us. In a world that's designed for us, it's made us stupid and weak. And the people who had to work for every meal were smarter than us.
Yeah, dude, that's why Inky threw the first hominids away. They couldn't hold tools. Sorry.
But you get what I'm saying? So, yes, not only were they good at deceiving people, they were better at deceiving people back then than they are today because we're dumber. It's easier to deceive us. And guess what? There's nothing you can do about it for the most part, right? We're sort of given our boxes to live in. And we haven't chosen something other than that. So where are we at, really?
Yeah. You should definitely choose your own box. Do that. I'm gonna make a shirt out of that.
Dude, that'd be a great Pandora shirt.
Dude, we can make tons of shirts. Guys, I have a Shopify now. If you didn't know, pulled it up earlier. We'll probably pull it up before we get out of here. But yeah, so after Pscyche performed these 4 tasks, and let's see.
Well, in the Golden Ass, it's the Pan that comes to her service. It's these other wind spirits that come to her service. Like, she wants to quit at every single trial. Like, she shows up and she wants to stop. She looks for the nearest cliff to jump off and then kill herself.
Retrieving
and that actually
Persephone's beauty. Oh, dude, that's wild.
But they would motivate people with the beauty of their stories, right? So as soon as you sort of create the contrast between beauty and ugliness in the minds of the reader and show the triumph of the beauty, that's when you've inspired somebody, right? And inspiring is the process of taking in new spirit. That's what your stuff should be doing, is inspiring people, lifting them up. Literally, you should be the wind spirit, right? That's your job as the storyteller, is to be the wind spirit, lift them up. Be
your own wind spirit.
And if you can be your own wind spirit, by all means, man. But you got to share that, right? Share the inspiration.
Be your own self. Beauty and the Beast. Damn, Vincent, you're a little late. I brought that up like an hour ago. Dude, we were talking about the rose, and I was like, yeah, the fucking alchemical rose and the sealed, hermetically sealed in the thing that looks almost like an egg, but it's not. Dude, yeah, there's.
And in terms of like theosophy, right? Theosophists were really, really guided to the idea of the Rosicrucians, because Rosicrucianism seems like a blending of European paganism and Christianity.
It's Christian mysticism. It's probably what I've been getting into for the past 6 to 8 months. But because I mean, I've been called a Rosicrucian, Jesuit, and all that good stuff.
Those things aren't mutually exclusive, though. I mean, like
that's what makes it funny. Right. That's when I'm like, laughing at it. And I was like, okay, right. This is funny. This is good. And I'm like, no, call me something else. Create better psyops of me.
The unfortunate part is that people don't understand how useful having taboo information is to the government. I think that's the part that everybody has missed out, is because having occultists around that the rest of society can heap their derision on, because the rest of society has been programmed in this anti-idol mentality, right? If you have an idol, that means you're bad. Well, don't look at my idols, right? Anyways, that idea of having occultists around to heap derision on has really helped them, because they can put their own operatives in there. They can take the ideas from those operatives within this alternative subculture and then prop them up as being somehow more influential. I don't think any single fucking Beyonce, Beyonce herself, has read a single page of anything of Aleister Crowley, and yet they're the most highly associated people in our societies. Crowley and this woman who can't even fucking read, to be most honest and blunt.
Now you mentioned that, I don't even think Jay-Z has read Crowley. The motherfucker was given a shirt that says "Do what thou wilt," or he maybe was told about it. I don't know. I don't know. I just I see a lot.
I don't think he knows
celebrities
anything
just-
about this shit. I think he was handed it.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Look
mean,
at look at Taylor Swift. Do you think she knows anything about the devil? Give me a break.
right.
Do you think she read any Arthur or Edward Waits and about fucking Baphomet? Give me a fucking break. These people don't know anything. They're propped up. They're given these symbols to wave around in front of your face inside the cave so that you get upset at them. And you create these vast conspiracies about how they're bad and they're connected to these demons and these old ones. And really, nobody's read the material. And once you start reading the material, you find stuff like this and you're like, wait a second.
You
So
just
they're
explained
talking
about
about the
80,
elevation of the soul.
you also just explained about 80% of the podcasts that cover the occult. They never read
Yeah.
it. Straight up.
I mean, what are we doing here?
Fired.
You wanna
Shots
turn into
fired.
fucking community.
No, dude, I definitely think it's like that with most celebrities. You know which ones are into the shit, right? Like you see it on the side, with certain articles, and we get into our little conspiracy rabbit holes. We know which celebrities are, more, I guess you could say, are practicing occultists, right? People like Johnny Depp. Let's see. Sorry, trying to.
Perhaps.
But,
I think you'll even hear it a little bit more obvious in the shit that they say as well, like in their lyrics. I think
Yeah.
that's always a given too.
yeah, they'll definitely show you. But yeah, all the people just because somebody does this, I do this all the time, guys. I do this to you all the time. Doesn't mean
You're
I'm
being
in the
directed by
Illuminati.
photographers, right?
Yeah.
It's not them. It's the people around them that are telling them to do this stuff that are the occultists. We can all agree on that.
Yeah, who's that
But
weird?
why are they doing it?
photographer? Terry,
Yeah,
Because they'll do it for money.
I forgot his name.
they'll do it for money, but why are the occultists
Oh,
telling
yeah.
them? Give
They're
them
using
these
them as
symbols?
puppets.
Exactly. They want people to get upset. They want people to see this stuff and have iconoclastic feelings because iconoclasm creates hate mobs. It always has. This is what gets people to tear down statues. They want to have the left and the right tearing down different people's statues until everything is flattened.
Terry Richardson.
Well, we start killing each other. They
That's
start.
the photographer.
That's exactly what they do.
Bingo. Bingo.
No, that is
It's-
the craziest shit that you have right now. If you think about it, like, all right, first off, if you want to see how crazy this flip flopping is, you have a group of people now screaming about motherfuckers wearing masks, going on social media showing off their guns. But yet a year ago, they wanted to take your guns away and was telling you to put on a fucking mask. How
Same
these
people.
motherfuckers mentally flip flop and don't see it drives me crazy.
I know how it works. What it is the devotion
Right.
to power. They feel powerless in their own lives. So they have to go along with the power structure so that they can feel powerful themselves.
That's why they want everybody to fucking stick up for them because they're just scared as fuck themselves. They're a
No,
bunch
dude.
of fucking pussies.
Some
They want
fucking-
everybody to save
listen.
their ass.
Some lib fucking queer pulls his gun on me, I'm going to beat him to death with
I'll
it.
pistol whip that motherfucker with his own gun.
I will.
Right.
Never mind. I'm not going to say what else I do.
I'll
But,
stick it up his ass so he can get some.
Yeah, fucking try me.
It was a bad shot. We all know it. You can say it. You don't have to just completely sell out your entire personality and say, get rid of the Second Amendment to say it was a bad shot. These are idiots. You've got idiot cops on the street. You've got idiot ICE agents. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. The
They
people in
don't,
charge don't know
these
what the fuck
guys
they're
are
doing.
cooked, dude.
There's a massive competency crisis in the country.
Yo,
And
this is
nobody
like-
wants to admit it.
This is even something I've even said too, which I think is so funny with all these kids showing off their fucking guns. I even said this shit to my uncle a long time ago because he's crazy fucking whatever Republican to an extreme almost. Where he's like, thinking that like, we're gonna have to arm ourselves. This was like the last election, and I'm like, do you realize if the fucking government wants to, they don't even have to pull a trigger and they'll have us on the fucking floor in fucking pain. And they're already using that shit at the protest. They're
Yeah.
pushing a button and people's brains are feeling like it's starting to shatter. These motherfuckers have no idea what the fuck they're up against.
Yeah.
Venezuela.
Blueberry. Yeah. Well, they're posting about it now. That's why I was saying let some fucking liberal faggot try that shit, dude.
Oh, yeah, let one of them throw a rock
from
in
the
my
Mississippi
car.
and
I'll
do that
finally
shit.
become famous because I'll be all over the internet beating the fuck out of that
You
dude
will not
in the middle of the
leave
street if
woods.
he throws a rock at my fucking car. I don't give a fuck who you're pissed at. I will kick your fucking ass with everybody filming me. I don't give a fuck.
Well, dude, that's why I say,
Let me bang that
somebody breaks
motherfucker's
into my
head against
house,
my fucking car.
I'm locking them in my house.
So this book was produced in a time period where Rome was on the extreme decline, and they were talking about these bandits. There were more soldiers than ever and more bandits than ever, and nobody could figure out why that was. Right? You've got all these soldiers, they're supposed to clear the roads for you. You're supposed to be able to travel without getting impeded. But there's bandits fucking everywhere, and there's soldiers everywhere who don't know what the fuck they're doing. So we've got a massive competency crisis. For people saying that we are speed running the Roman Empire, they're not lying. But this is all the self-delusion that you get when you're not willing to re-examine your original premises. Just re-examine them and then figure it out from there, because there's something we're not getting about our reality. And that's what we keep finding over and over again, is that people just aren't willing to accept reality for how it is. They've got to transpose or transfix a new reality on top of it so that everybody can feel better about themselves. Let's get into reality.
And in doing so, you will transform yourself. I think me and my wife both, man, I've never felt so spiritually. I've never felt so spiritually inclined as I presently do. So
I guarantee you, if most of the population stopped ignoring shit and stopped reacting to it, they'd stop doing shit to make us react, because it doesn't work anymore.
They just need to quit being scared.
No, I think a lot of it literally is just trying to pin us against each other.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, the common denominator for all this shit is fear.
And
what we've been talking, that's what I beat a dead horse talking about, fear and the mental plane, and how it's the strongest emotion tied to your mental plane, through the ethereal plane and all the water in your body, if you want to get into it. But
now, something I've even thought about with some of this shit, and it kind of makes sense, I think, to a bit. And a lot of people do think sometimes these people aren't killed. You know how you're always saying, oh, if you do this horrible stuff with magic, it's going to come back at you. There's that karma. That's why you got to tell people you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
What if you're actually not killing these people and you just have the public thinking they are? You actually never did the crime. You actually never did the bad thing. Just the way you videotaped it and the way you pulled it off with special effects, you have everybody believing the horrible thing. You didn't do shit.
Perception is literally reality, dude. But while Headless is gone, I guess, because I was going to ask him a couple other things about Eros.
He's probably done.
What I was talking about the wolf bitches of Gothland was in the Volsunga saga. There's the Volsungs, right? And they're overtaken by the king of Gothland. Nick, give me 2 seconds. I'll because we're probably gonna get out of here in a minute, guys. Because I don't know if Headless, he may be done for the evening.
Yeah, I'm waiting for him to text me that his computer died. Because sometimes I don't know if he forgets to plug it in, but it dies and he can't come back. He's got to charge it.
Well, let me explain what I was talking about, because we have the wolf bitches of Thessaly, and if go over to building7.printify.me, it's subliminal messengers, and he has some stuff over there. Headless, me, Gods of the Morning Wood, our Saturday show that we do, guys. Guess it's a good time to probably wrap it up. I did want to ask Headless how the story of Eros and Pscyche ended. They live happily ever after.
Yeah, he's dead. Headless said he texted you to his computer.
And then this picture right here is like the adult, or the higher Eros slaying the younger Eros or something. It's I guess maybe symbolic of shedding your old skin or killing your younger self. And this may have been what happened whenever Pscyche saw him, right? This is what happened in the spiritual realm. He had to break the form that she saw him in, right? The Cupid, or the angel, the form that he was disguised in. I don't know. Wanted to ask Headless about it, but anyway, so basically, there's 10 brothers and a sister. Sister's name is Signy. Sigmund is one of the 10 brothers. I'm sure all their names start with Sig. But there's a king, Siggeir, who is the king of Gothland, who basically kills the Volsung's family and takes the daughter as his wife, takes Signy as his wife, puts Sigmund and his brothers in the wilderness where there are these wolf women, like these shape-shifting wolf women of Gothland, the wolf bitches of Gothland, guys. There will be stickers as well as a story to go with that. And every night she would basically come and seduce one of the boys and end up eating them until Sigmund was the last one. But before, who was it that visited him? Was it Freya?
So that's how furry started.
May have been Freya. Or maybe it was, no. The death. No, hold on. Well, I'm sure we could get into it at another time because I know it's probably late for you as well. But he was somehow given honey and it was dripped all over him and in his mouth. And yeah, so when the wolf came to him, she licked inside his mouth. He rips her fucking tongue out and kills her. Yeah. Ooh. And then him and yeah, dude, it's the story is epic. I started reading a few more chapters past that. Then we stopped during Gods in the Morningwood, and dude, it's incredible. And not only that, but the rest of the PDF is lit like all of the sagas, like the Ragnar Lothbrok sagas and all of the Norse like tales and sagas, based like these short sagas of Balder and Tyr and Thor and Odin. And so it's going to be a lot more than what we bargained for with that book, guys. So with the Volsunga saga that I have. So if y'all, you should, well, I was talking about honey because Freya, and then my wife was talking, my wife had a dream where she was fed honey and all this stuff. Yeah, it's just certain synchronicities, right? But Freya is represented by honey. Anyway, Headless, I guess, is trying to get back in here, but
I don't know. Yeah, I see that, but it's like
I don't know what the fuck's going on. Yeah, sorry guys. Headless trying to get back in, but his device not connected. So we're probably going to get out of here in a minute. That's a black metal song somewhere in Finland. It should be. If not, it should be. That the first time I leave the country, that's the first place I'm going to Scandinavia. Or the Netherlands. I don't know.
Beautiful places.
Yeah. Depends on how it is. Goth Wolf Girls, yes. Yeah, Tyranny, we always go there, dude. And thank you for going there with us, brother. You are a very valued member of my Patreon. So it's good to always see you on the Occult Reject shows. You're not everyone who's part of the Patreon is brave enough to tune in all the time. So, got a very widespread audience, as far as personalities go and people's certain beliefs and whatnot. But anyway, Nick, what do we have this week, man?
I know Friday we're finishing up the Gateway thing.
Damn, dude, you said Thursday.
Yeah, my bad. I meant Friday.
I know, and then I agreed to go on Strange Brew. So
yeah, Friday we got that. Then Saturday at 7:00, I do have the Gentleman Occultist coming up.
Okay.
And then Sunday, I have two shows actually.
Also Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday. That's right. Saturday at 2:00.
Me, you, and Headless. Me,
Yes.
Nick, and Headless will be on Divulgence podcast with Jordan on Saturday at 2 Eastern, guys. So y'all be sure to tune into that. We will be talking about how modern day religions, what we got into tonight, how occult symbolism comes from a lot of this stuff, more particularly what Crowley used, right, Nick?
Yeah, there's a lot of symbolism or just beliefs that actually came from like Platonic or Neoplatonic ideas that Christianity just adopted. I was
going to say one that I saw was the circumcision of the heart that Crowley talked about, and I'm like, well, wait a minute, I've seen that elsewhere. So you said Sunday you got 2 shows as well?
Yeah, Sunday I have 2 shows. 12 o'clock, I have Jane Matthews. They have the author of the Ogham. It's kind of like runes, almost like they made cards that are kind of like Celtic divination. And then
that's cool.
Sunday night, we have Ike Baker coming back on for his book, Etheric Magic.
Well, if me and Olivia can't make it Friday night, we'll make it. We'll try and make it to the Ike Baker show.
Yeah, he's a good dude. He's coming on Sunday, and then he's coming on like a couple of days later after that with somebody else. Good guy.
Yeah.
I feel bad for him to see me twice in 1 week.
She'd love to be on some kind of episode like that with someone who knows what they're talking about. She's down to.
Oh yeah,
she's down to go.
Yeah, I think that'll be fun. Yeah, definitely get her on again, man.
To go on as much as you'll have her, because I mean,
yeah.
And I guess we can stream it. I can stream it to her channels whenever she comes on. I don't have to always stream it to mine. Guys, go over to YouTube and Rumble and follow Babylon Podcast. It's my wife Olivia, and she's wonderful and beautiful, and she's been a part of Grey Pilled since the beginning. So she has a couple videos that she put out. Still need to post one of her other episodes, but she's trying to start doing more stuff. That one episode she came on with all of us, she said changed her opinion on podcasting completely. Yeah, she had a great time. My chaos streams during the weekend with my degenerate friends, my degenerate streamer friends, and I love them. But anyway, yeah, guys, I guess I'll be going on Strange Brew podcast Friday night.
Nice.
I don't know. I think Tomcat there may be more people on. Some guy, maybe some of the Canadian guys. I don't know, but it should be a good time. And then Saturday morning, Gods of the Morning Wood, Golden Ass, and Mysteries of the Druids by W. Winwood Reed. And or the Veil of Isis is also the other title of the book. And then Divulgence Podcast at 2, and then Occult Rejects the rest of the weekend. Like I said, Nick, I'll try to make at least another one of those.
Cool. Yeah, well, I know Saturday we also have a show, so if you can't make it Sunday, it's okay.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I'll be sure to talk to her about it, and then we'll.
No, but I understand
if we could plan it. Well, I mean, if we could plan it, it'd be easy to do, because I mean, you can get my kids to stay with my mother-in-law.
Oh, nice.
Get one of them too. It's always easy. Easier when you don't have both of them. Yeah. If you have 2 kids and you're trying to do something, because But anyway, guys. I can sit here and talk. Like I said, Nick, I know it's late. Thanks for starting so late with me tonight. I
look forward to these shows. They're fun. I don't know.
Yeah, man. No, I always learned something.
Yeah.
About the Greek pantheon and that culture and those stories. Fascinating topics. And Headless is the best guide to do it.
Plethora of knowledge.
Yeah. Definitely. Guys, go follow him over at Twitter at headless_giant, and then youtube.com /headless giant.
Yeah.
And go follow me on Twitter at GrayPillPod. I just broke I think 1,300 followers. So. No, it took about a year, dude. Went from 1200 to 30. That's how shadow banned I am, I think. Because like I said, I have
there's
people
no
tell me
way.
all the time that they can't find my pages or my profile. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. Spreaker will not let me sign up. That's something that I'm now looking at that I'm kind of like, what the fuck?
That is crazy.
All 3 times I've done it, it has deleted it. Like, dude, it just, I don't know, man. I don't know. I went step by step to do it, did everything right, and still, I mean, I'm beside myself about it, but we're not, you know, I expect these things now. So,
Wow.
it means we're hitting on something, dude. It means we're hitting on something.
Right? Yeah.
Look. You know, we're doing away with their subverted symbols. We're bringing the true meanings back, guys, and we are stepping on Typhon, as I like to say. You know, no fear, and that's how we're doing it in 2026 from here on out. So hopefully we'll see. Go over to patreon.com/grateful podcast if you want to support the show. Do a lot of exclusive content on Patreon, as well as sticker packs, a bunch of cool stuff.
Oh shit, look at that.
Yeah. I got a lot of cool stuff. And then Rumble, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast. And I'm gonna share this one more time. Nick, let me this Shopify, everybody.
Get it?
So let's see. Where are you? Kidding me right now? Oh, sorry. Okay, here we go. Okay, yeah, there's a Shopify. Just some stickers on there and a mug right now. Gods of the Morning Wood. There's an Occult Reject sticker. That was I just uploaded that first. I actually
sent you a couple of images if you want to use. I'll never put them on stickers. You can
cool. I was like, let me see if this works, and it worked. And the Slop sticker.
I like that.
Yeah. I love that's what does Subliminal say? It was from the Subgenius, Church of the Subgenius. That was like an image that they used in one of their ads. It's creepy.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Gods of the Morning Wood, and then you got Dale Cooper with the gray pills, and we got Bob.
Oh, I like that with Bob.
Yeah, Bob in front of the curtains of the Black Lodge, and then we got the gray pill. That if no one can tell, it's a pyramid in the lettering. I think it's pretty cool. I'm gonna probably put that on a shirt and hoodie as well. Maybe tonight.
Oh, black hoodie.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna make a lot of designs, a lot of cool shit, guys. So, and I have a Printify as well that I will be uploading stuff to. So, I have the link in the description, and hopefully we'll see you guys Friday night on either the Occult Rejects or you can watch Grey Pill if you want. Go watch the Occult Rejects. So
yes, and then catch us
definitely. Yeah. No,
Saturday too.
Yes. Y'all be sure to tune in. I'm pretty sure we'll be able to stream the Divulgence pod to
oh yeah, that's right.
Our channels. Yeah. And Saturday morning, the first half of Gods of the Morning Wood is public. Second half, we got to cut it right at like an hour 15 because I played music for 15 minutes at the beginning. But yeah. Anyway, guys, if we don't see y'all Friday night, have a good rest of your week. Oh, yeah. Have a good weekend, and I don't know. We don't have really anything to say at the end of the Occult Rejects, so I will say stay gray pilled, everybody. Later.